Hey everybody, welcome to another Apple event. Live coverage of the Apple iPhone 5, brought to you by the GFQ Network. I'm Zarian, and of course I'm joined by Sunkast, a tech enthusiast here at the GFQ Network. How you doing, John?
I'm doing good. And yes, you can call me John for this broadcast.
I don't know. I'm calling you two things.
I think people kind of get confused sometimes because you start calling me Sunkast, but then you start also referring to me as John.
It's a little.
I think kind of throws people off.
It's a little nickname I have for you. It's a little cute nickname. So we are broadcasting live here on Wednesday, and it's 1 p.m. East. So the event is kicking off. If we have a feed, we're going to provide you with a feed. But before I start running down the news and things happening, I do want to say if you're watching on any number of our streaming partner sites, Ustream, Justin TV, Stickem, you could, of course, go to our website, gfqlive.tv, and join our chat room. We have a great group of people in there, about 144 people in the chat currently there. I know there's a lot more on JTV and Ustream. I believe on Ustream there's about 4,500 people watching. JTV has almost 1,000 people. So if you are watching on any number of these sites, be sure to check out gfqlive.tv and join the chat. So it kind of makes it easy for me to answer questions and, put some of these points up that you guys are making. So where do we begin? Right now, at this very moment, you have Tim Cook on the stage. I will be showing you this in a second. Here we go. So here's Tim Cook on the stage. He's thanking everybody for coming in the morning. He said, I'll give you a few updates. First, about our Apple retail stores. Tim Cook is showing off their store in Barcelona. There it is. Some of the other stores. So no big announcement right now. But John, let me ask you, what are you hoping to see from this event? Because we already know some of the things that we're going to see.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing with Apple is by nature is that you're going to get a slew of rumors. Of course, some of them are going to be real, some of them not real whatsoever. Of course, I think what a lot of people are wanting is a bigger screen, which is being rumored. And we have seen will probably be true from a lot of the leaks that we've seen on the web so far. So that's a big thing for me. I mean, and that's one of the things that kind of has put me off the iPhone in the past is that it doesn't have a very big screen compared to a lot of the phones that we see out today with the 4.7-inch screen.
Yeah.
Where iPhone is only 3.9, I think it was.
The iPhone was 3.
I think it was less than 4 or almost 4. So.
Yeah,
to me, and I'm kind of a big person, so I don't want a phone that's really less than 4 inches of screen real estate.
Yeah, sure.
So that, of course, is a big thing for me. I want a big screen, something I can use, I can see things on. I mean, I have an iPod Touch here, and to me, this is just kind of small. I'm like, I want something a little bit bigger than this. I mean, it's nice, but with so much media that we consume today, you have to have a bigger screen. That's just the way things are going nowadays, is that we're seeing these 4.3 and 4.7 and even 5-inch screen sizes on smartphones these days.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big issue. So they're still showing some of the stores here. A lot of people they're showing the Barcelona launch. People are screaming. Inspirational retail experience videos made. We're opening our 13th country on Friday. They're welcoming. They have about 380 stores currently. And this is amazing. This is a company that, if you look at what Microsoft has been able to do, they really have not been able to capitalize on this because they really don't make hardware. But for a specific company like Apple to be so dominant as a retailer, Sony has not been able to do it. I know they've attempted. We don't see anybody else doing this, but Apple's been extremely dominant at doing this because they've kind of figured out how to cater to the consumer. Tim Cook is on stage saying, we've had a very busy summer for the Mac. We launched Mountain Lion. The reviews have been fantastic. I'm a fan of Mountain Lion. We're running Mountain Lion here. But John, what about...
Well, you weren't at first, though.
Well, I had a couple issues
when you
here
weren't running the beta, you were like, this is awful.
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't bad. I just had a couple issues with some software we were using. But other than that, I mean, it's been all right. Guys, if you're experiencing some problems with the video, I see some people are saying that the video went down for Ustream. It should be working. I don't know why it would have gone down at all, because it seems like it's working here. Ustream might have had a hiccup. I don't know. It's fascinating how they've been able to capitalize. So right now, Tim Cook is on stage claiming 7 million people have upgraded to Mountain Lion, which is phenomenal. I mean, that's a huge number for the upgrade, considering they launched a couple months ago. They've downloaded 7 million copies. Together with MacBook Air, our notebooks rank number 1 in the U.S. market for the last 3 months. I don't know how true that is. John, what do you think?
See, I don't really know, because a lot of these times we don't know what the methodology they're using to generate these numbers. So we don't know what all they're factoring in, because as with any kind of polling that's being done these days, is you have different ways of counting things. You can make numbers look different in certain situations, depending on what you use to factor those numbers.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they're factoring those numbers in. As far as
Andrew, I do have a black screen on Ustream on mine. It says off air.
Yeah, I just rebooted. I think Ustream crashed in general. So here is Tim Cook again. Now onto the iPad. I guess they're going to announce our new iPads were recently announced, and the reviews have been incredible. This is the typical Apple thing. They kind of stroke and they show all these numbers at first, and there's really no news. So it's kind of difficult to cover this, because it's just a giant stroke fest for the first 20 minutes of this announcement. The last quarter, we sold a whopping 17 million iPads. That is actually pretty significant. If you look at from April to June, 17 million iPads have been sold. Now, you don't have an iPad. Is it appealing to you at all? I know you're going to get an iPhone, but is the iPad appealing to you?
Tablets in general aren't appealing to me. And I can, just like smartphones, I can kind of see both sides of things as far as going with an iPhone or going with an Android or going with Windows Phone. I can see reasons for doing each of those things. So I'm not wooed particularly to one side or the other. And in general, I just don't really see a purpose for tablets, at least not in my life with my lifestyle, because I'm always here right by a computer, so I don't necessarily need a tablet.
See, that's the thing. I like the iPad.
I'll tell you, on the other hand, though, like my mom, who's a bit older and isn't always by her computer, I can see a real significance for her to have a device like the iPad.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's where they've capitalized. They've capitalized on the casual user.
The tablet is for the casual user, somebody who's not always by their computer, who isn't always doing work with their computer, like me.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you this. I do have a Kindle Fire that I've taken on road trips with me, simply because I don't have a laptop or a computer to take with me, some other device. And in that regards, I can definitely see having a tablet, even the iPad, with me on vacation or on a trip. I definitely see a benefit to that.
Some more stats, some more data is being shown. This brings us total to 84 million units sold through June. The iPad is sold. Shocking when you're thinking about the category that did not exist. Yeah, and that's the amazing thing. There was no category 2.5 years ago, and they've sold 84 million devices. Now our competition is taking our notes. They've launched hundreds of tablets. Last year, we had 62% market share. So what happened over the last year? The latest data shows the iPad now has 68% share, which actually went up. I don't, that's interesting. The numbers, they might be a little skewed, because we're going to see a drop, and those numbers really don't mean anything. Well, it is
Apple. They tend to make their numbers look as good as possible, and they don't necessarily release information to back up their claim or not. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying that on the surface, you just can't necessarily believe everything. You kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. It is Apple after all. They want to present themselves as well as possible. And Apple's not the only one that does something like this. I'm not picking on Apple just because they're Apple. A lot of companies do stuff like this where they use methodologies that make their numbers look as good as possible.
Yeah. And again, I don't feel that that's an important number. And the reason why I say that is because the more tablets that are on the market, the lower that number is going to be for Apple. But for them to hang on to at least 50% of the market share is extremely significant in a market where a new tablet is coming out every single month, and you have tablets that are $199, even lower than that. The Kindle Fire 7-inch is $159. So they really, to hold that market share, I give them a lot of credit for that. Almost all of Fortune 500 have tested and deployed iPads. Okay, custom apps. We're talking about that. Here's some images here. 250,000 iPhone, iPad apps out in the store. I'm curious on how many of those are decent apps and how many of them are ported apps. John, that number is a little curious to me.
It's hard to tell exactly because, in a way, iOS has been around for a long time, so I wouldn't necessarily doubt that they have that amount of apps.
Again, we're trying to get the feedback up and running on.
Yeah, I'm searching on Twitter, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of stuff. Everybody just wants to post links to live blogs, and they say, "Oh, that's a live feed."
Yeah, and it's really not. 100 downloads per customer.
Yeah, if you guys in the chat room come across this feed, let us know so that we can pull it up.
So you want to run down some of the news while I try to get the Ustream thing sorted out?
Yeah, we can run down some of the rumors. I mean, of course, we know that it's likely to have a larger screen, and some of the other stuff that I think is controversial is the new, a rumored 9-pin dock connector. A lot of people are a fan of this 30-pin connector that you see here, which is what they've used since the beginning of the iPhone. And a lot of people are partial to this just because they already have so many accessories and peripherals for iOS devices set up for this, so that if they do come out with a new dock connector, that might change things. I mean, obviously, you could there will probably be an adapter that you can get to use your existing 30-pin connector with the new 9-pin. But what's really cool is that they're saying that these supposed new 9-pin connectors are a lot faster than what you have with the 30-pin connector. And I think even if you don't like the new pin connector, that the benefits of having a faster docking port outweigh the fact that it's different and it's not the same as it was before.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that if they change that pin, they're going to have a lot of problems with people, having old apparel.
Your cases won't work as usual.
Yeah.
Because the dock's going to be a different size.
So here we go. They are saying, and today we are launching the iPhone 5.
So they are going to call it the iPhone 5, and not the new iPhone.
Which I'm very surprised.
And we did see packaging leak that said the new iPhone.
They are calling it the iPhone 5. And let's
Something
see.
rose up out of the stage.
It's rotating. Whatever rose up is rotating. Let's see what it is. So here they have all the older versions. So
it looks like some sort of stand that came up and popped out of the stage that actually has the iPhone on it that's illuminated.
Yeah, so it's glowing at this point. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of icons. It's just like the leaked image. So this is identical.
Which means it does have a larger screen. It's not necessarily wider, but it is taller.
Yeah, so it's all the leaked images were correct, and here it is. Here is the iPhone 5. The display looks nice. I'm going to take you through it and hope you'll love it as much as we do. So here we go. We're going to start getting the summary of what is included in the iPhone 5. It's entirely made of glass and aluminum. No surprise there, as Apple has been doing this for some time now. Glass and aluminum device. And now let's see. Anything else? It's unlike anything else in the industry. The biggest challenge for our team has taken, and it was simply amazing. It's the thinnest phone we've ever made, and the lightest. So they've gone lighter and thinner.
That's amazing, since that if this device does have LTE, I mean, that's having to add LTE actually adds more silicon into the device itself, because you have to actually add a different chip, a heavier chip, a bigger chip to the device.
It's 7.6.
And with that,
it's
go ahead.
It's 7.6 millimeters thick, and it's 18% thinner than the previous iPhone. 20% lighter as well than the iPhone 4S. So they've gone lighter and thinner. Now, there's a couple questions in this. What are they going to do with the battery? It's 112 grams, 20% lighter. Okay.
Right. I mean,
The
obviously,
battery
if you're
life.
adding a bigger screen and LTE, that's going to take more juice to power up.
Yeah.
So you're going to kind of need a bigger battery, but adding a bigger battery, of course, is going to add weight.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the battery life. We have to talk about the screen. We have to talk about
Retina.
the camera.
They just confirmed that it is a Retina display screen.
Yeah, Retina display, 326 ppi.
Pixels per inch.
Yeah, so the new screen on the iPhone 5 is a 4-inch display even. Resolution is 1136 by 640, and guess what? 16 by 9 widescreen.
I do wish it was bigger still.
I don't see them.
But yeah, I mean, on the other hand, I think they do want to keep it smaller for the people, the generation, the people that like the iPhone that are a smaller size than myself.
For
Women
people
in general.
For people tuning in, we are the Ustream is down, totally down.
They crashed.
It's totally crashed, and we cannot get the feedback up. So we're trying to get that going, and we're getting nothing, just an error on the page. So we're going to try, and we're working with Ustream to bring it back. But if you are watching, you can watch on our website. gfqlive.tv is our site, and you can watch there. We have all our feeds are working on that site, so we're not going to have a problem. So let's go back and see what else they have going here. Any other news? So you're going to see a 5th row of icons, which is going to give you more screen real estate. You'll see more of your emails. Your calendar will show more events, obviously. Now you'll see 5 full days in your work week. All our software has been updated as well. Keynotes, pages, numbers. So they've upgraded all their software to fit the new version. Do you like the 4-inch? I mean, how big would you have wanted it to be?
Minimum 4.3, honestly.
4.3
I mean, that would be my ideal size for an iPhone, I think. 4.3, because I don't think it's too big, but it's not too small either.
Yeah. Let's see.
Originally, I think the screen was 3.7 inches, and they upped it to 4. So that's really not a big increase in size whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge increase.
I'm honestly a little disappointed by it.
Okay.
That's not bigger. I mean, I think 4.4-inch screen is definitely the least they could have done. Ideally, I would have rather have seen 4.3.
Okay. I see, but that's the thing. I don't see them doing that. I don't see them jumping to that from nearly nothing. From 3-something to that. That's what I could never imagine them doing.
3.7 to 4.3 is only about a ½ inch.
So here we go. Here are some of the apps. Also, iPhoto, iMovie, and GarageBand have been updated. So you could do everything you were doing prior. No big deal there. But what about the App Store? Let's see what it's saying here.
Combs upset at me because I want a larger screen.
Oh, yeah, I had a discussion with him earlier.
Human hand can't operate a phone screen much bigger than 4-inch.
Sienna now takes advantage of the display as well. Here's OpenTable. So they're running down a bunch of apps. I'm surprised they're concentrating so much on applications.
Well, I believe they are launching this with iOS 6, so...
Yeah, but it's not even their applications. That's the thing. They're concentrating on...
That's what they do. They want to integrate as much as possible with the device. I mean, that's what gets people to use it.
I mean, the display, 1136 by 630 is the display size. So, interesting. It's an interesting size. I guess it has to do with the direct 4-inch display. Here we go. More information about the widescreen video they're showing. 40% more color saturation as well on this display. That's interesting. So it's going to give you a brighter and more vivid viewing of whatever video and photo you're looking at. So far I'm not that happy. There hasn't been much said. Integrated touch.
Well, they haven't talked about the CPU or the camera or the memory in it yet.
Yeah, so here we go. This is interesting. This is the most accurate display in the industry. The touch sensors are integrated right into the display itself. We've removed a layer that made it sharper. This is the world's most advanced display, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Okay, so the touch is not, it's integrated into the display. So they're calling something, they have something called ultra fast wireless. This is the first, that's the first feature in the iPhone 5. Now we're talking about wireless tech. So there's something called ultra fast wireless.
That sounds like a marketing term to me.
Yeah. We've added HSPA plus, DC HSDPA, and yes, LTE. So here we go. People that have been waiting for LTE and 4G.
So now Samsung can sue Apple.
So now, exactly, because Samsung had initially said they would be suing Apple.
Fire off that lawsuit.
It's a single chip, single radio dynamic antenna. It's just screams. So I guess they're gonna do some speed tests on this thing. They're gonna show how fast it is. Now that they're using a single chip for voice and data and a single radio chip, it has a unique advantage to the dynamic antenna.
Yeah, in most cases, what they're probably using is a Qualcomm chip, because the Qualcomm chips are the only chips that can have all those radios on a single chip that Apple needs to operate its devices on every single network and every single band.
Yeah.
And Qualcomm is basically the only company that makes a chip that even does that.
Yeah, so the reason why
they're forced to do that in a way.
Let me just say that the reason why Samsung came out, they had that big major patent lawsuit, but Samsung has rights to 10% of the LTE patent. So they had turned around and said they would sue Apple if they come out with an LTE iPhone. We'll see if that's true, or if they, if it's possible litigation on their behalf. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if they're bluffing. So we'll see what happens with that. Very interesting. So here's some more information. Let's scroll down. So LTE. Now you probably
know some of the carriers that it's going to be launching on.
So it's going to be on. US is going to have Sprint, Verizon, AT&T. Canada will have Roger, Telus, and Bell. And they're showing worldwide devices. So they're showing Korea.
No T-Mobile.
No T-Mobile.
Unless they're going to save that announcement for later.
I don't think so. But you know what is interesting? Is that a T-Mobile logo for the UK? Isn't Deutsche Telekom T-Mobile?
Yeah, but they operate differently over there. I mean, it's a totally different company in a way.
So we're also getting ultra-fast wireless doesn't stop at LTE. New Wi-Fi, 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz on 802.11n. So there's an updated Wi-Fi chip in this as well.
Which they had to do because, I mean, that's something that's existed for a good couple of years now.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been... There's no way they could have not have 802.11n in there whatsoever. It's got to be there.
They're saying...
Nobody would have bought it.
Now we're going to keep this going. We've updated every aspect of the iPhone 5.
So it is using the new A6 processor in there.
Yes.
It's 2 times faster CPU, 2 times faster graphics.
Compared to the A5, which is it's 2 times faster. Now this is going to be a quad-core chip. The huge jump in performance, but 22% smaller. Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited, want to know the camera. Michael Mann in our chat room from T4 Show. He does a great show talking about technology, gaming. He wants to know about the camera, and so do I. That was a good plug, right, Colm?
Yeah, the GeoCube Viewer 2164 brings up an interesting point. In the UK, T-Mobile and Orange are one company called Everything Everywhere, which I believe just happened. But it's really confusing if you don't actually live there, that these two companies merged and now call themselves Everything Everywhere. That's the name of the company. It's just stupid.
Run down some of the other news, John, while I...
All right, so let's see. It launches Pages, the Pages app 2.1 times faster. You can save images from the iPhoto app at 1.7 times faster. It loads the music app with songs almost 2 times faster. And you can view Keynote attachments 1.7 times faster.
So
I
we
don't
have,
know if you guys can tell me in the chat room because I don't remember off the top of my head. What's the CPU that they use in the iPad 3? Is it the A5X or is it the A6?
in the latest one. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I
that's a good
think it
question.
might be the A5X, but I'm not 100% sure.
So we have Rob Murray from EA.
So I am right. It is the A5X, and the A6, I guess, is newer.
So here we go. Listen to this. This is interesting. Now we're going to talk about the graphics in this thing. And they're discussing Real Racing 3. And according to the developer, I guess, executive producer EA Studios, Rob Murray, he says this is full console quality on the iPhone.
What makes it full console quality?
Let's see. The Verge is saying the graphics do look excellent. A lot nicer shaders and reflection. For the first time, real view mirrors, so you could actually see behind you in the game. And yeah, I guess that is a nice addition.
I think a lot of that just means the rendering ability of
To
the
the
graphics
device, yeah.
processor. Which is important. I mean, you want to see, nice, crisp, clean, and detailed graphics that update in near real time as far as you're playing the game.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? Yeah, I don't know. Gaming on these devices for me really doesn't do it. I mean, I really don't game on my phone. And maybe the chat room, I'll ask you guys do you game on your phone? Do you play serious games on your phone? If I'm playing a game, I'm playing, some crappy, low graphics, very simple,
Draw something
type of game on my phone. I'm not really playing high quality games, console quality, and
But
I
is
use
that
that term
because
loosely.
we just haven't seen console quality games in a fast enough phone for that sort of gameplay?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's why. But I there's a couple other priorities for me. One is battery life. If I'm on the go, I want this battery to last me until I get home. If I'm sitting there and I'm playing the game, and it's going to suck up a lot of resources, it's going to suck up a lot of CPU, it's going to use a lot of data, and it's going to use a lot of my battery life, I'm not really going to play it, am I? So they're still talking about the game. Real tracks, real cars, real people. You could play again. So this is, I mean, the game looks great. Yeah, the game looks phenomenal, as far as what I could tell. But here we go. And now there's a picture
now
of a
they're
battery.
going to talk about the battery, it looks like.
So this is what we all want to know, right? The real deal is the battery. Again, if you're experiencing problems, I know a lot of people on Ustream are experiencing problems with the feed. They are having some issues with the servers locally. If you are having problems, you could always go to gfqlive.tv and join the chat there. We have a bunch of feeds. We have about 4 feeds there, so you could pick from there and choose whichever one works the best for you. So now they are going to talk about the battery, and Phil is back on the stage. To marry mobile and console graphics, it has never been done before, so you could imagine the challenge of the battery life. So here we go. Here is the battery life. You're going to have standby of 225 hours of battery. Music is 40 hours. Video is 10. Wi-Fi browsing is 10. LTE browsing is 8. 3G browsing is 8. And 3G talk is 8.
But that's probably lab tested.
It's not real world,
statistics. That's probably not real world use.
Yeah.
I mean, you really rarely ever see these claims of the battery life match up in the real world.
Let's see now. Okay,
so,
so now
like
it's
they're moving on
to
to the camera.
Okay.
And they're calling it eyesight.
Okay. The next
Which I don't think they've called it eyesight before.
I think, well, they were referring it to as eyesight.
It's the same as before. It's an 8 megapixel sensor.
Okay.
3264 by 2448. Backside illuminated. Hybrid IR filter. 5-element lens, which I'm not exactly sure what that all means.
And 2.4 aperture. Okay, we asked our team to try and design something better than the 4S, and we've done that. 8 megapixel. Okay, so 25% smaller of a camera.
But
the
people are
optics
going to be
smaller.
disappointed by the fact that it's not 12 megapixels.
Well, here's the interesting thing, but it didn't stop there. The megapixel means nothing. Nobody's printing 8 megapixel pictures. I mean, that's the truth of it. We're not viewing them. It's the optics and the quality of the photo that matters. They enhanced it even further. Dynamic low light mode, precision lens alignment, and sapphire crystal.
That's all marketing stuff, though.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the only thing that interests me out of all of that is the low light mode, because that's something that is always going to be inherently awful on a low end device, or not really a low end device, but a very small camera, such as the 8 megapixel camera on a smartphone. It's inherently a problem with all of them, that they're all going to be crappy in low light.
Sapphire
they just don't have a big enough sensor.
Sapphire is known for being a hard and clear crystal. The next generation ISP, noise reduction, smart filter, better low light performance, and fast photo capture. So these are all improvements. But I predicted, I didn't think we would get a change in the optics.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the fact that they're going to have better low light performance is a good thing. The thing is, it's just not a big difference over what they have already. And I think that's a little bit disappointing, is that people want to see these big generational changes from 8 megapixels to 12 megapixels, 12 megapixels to 16 megapixels, every different iteration. And we're just not
we don't
in
need
that.
It.
We're in that stage now where that's just not happening anymore.
Yeah, and we don't need it to happen.
We're kind of stagnant.
John, I'm going to let you go, and we're going to get Paul Thurrott on the line. So, John, any quick plug? You're going to come back at the end of the broadcast, but a quick plug for your Twitter so people can follow you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Sunkast. That's with a K, not a C.
All right, and your website, Amadeus.
Yep, AMADAIS.com. It's my music blog where I find people on YouTube that sound awesome.
Very cool, John. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
All right, thank you.
So as we get Paul Thurrott on, and I want to have Paul on because he is not a guy that's kind of swaying towards the Apple side. You know, I want to have an unbiased coverage of the iPhone. So Paul's going to come on in a couple minutes. We're going to try to get him on now. But it is saying that it's 40% faster as far as taking pictures. And that's really, it's already really fast to get the pictures on. So let's see. Here are some more images. Tim Cook's not on stage. I thought I read that he came on stage. Here are some pictures from the iPhone 5 and from the camera, untouched. So that's a direct hit to Nokia in their announcement. They're also adding panorama, but perhaps the most amazing feature is the panorama. So here's some shots of panorama, and that does look good. This image is a 28 megapixel image. And 28 megapixels, wow. Hey, Paul.
Hello.
I'm a little behind, sorry.
I don't care.
So have you been following the blogs?
Yeah.
We're doing live coverage. Paul Thurrott, winsupersite.com is his site for first-time viewers.
I probably should have been more excited than that. Yes,
yes,
I have been following the blog.
There you go, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I was right yesterday, and everybody laughed at me when I said I didn't think there would be a major change to the optics.
Is that true? I mean, I don't know.
Same camera, a thinner camera, smaller camera, but I mean, not 8 megapixels. They didn't.
Well, it's 8 megapixels, but again, you know, people are already saying, "Oh, it's not as good as the 920," and you know, we need to really see these things, you know, side by side before we can say.
So they're showing untouched.
So they stole panorama from Nokia. That's nice.
Untouched images.
Yeah. You think
I saw
right.
that.
They'll
that was
definitely
funny.
be untouched. Yeah.
That was really funny that they said that. I mean, the camera.
By the way, funny that they said it. Not so funny that they just admitted Nokia is one of their competitors.
Yeah, very interesting. Shared photo stream. So they're really concentrating on the panorama, which they've been doing.
Well, I think the camera was already so good. There's not a lot to say there. So this is obviously a feature they didn't have.
And I told people it's going to be an evolutionary thing with the camera because it's far ahead of
Oh, this is the definition of evolutionary.
I mean, it's far ahead what a lot of people have been doing up until now. So here's some FaceTime stats, Paul. 1080p video, improved video stabilization, face recognition. You can take a photo and shoot at the same time. FaceTime HD. FaceTime over cellular, unless you're AT&T. Let's see. So so that's the iSight camera. So they're calling it the iSight camera. Everything you want has been updated in the iPhone 5. And that goes to the audio system as well. 3 microphones, top, bottom, and back. Huh.
Wow.
So they added an extra mic because, it was 2 mics prior, right?
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. One thing
Improved speaker design.
Yeah, improved speaker
not
design.
speakers.
Oh, so it's mono still.
Yeah, it always has been.
Yeah, but the rumors were that they were going stereo.
Yep.
Wideband audio is what they're calling it. I mean,
so far, a lot of the stuff I'm seeing in here looks like the 920 to me, right? The improved camera, panorama mode. They've got that improved wireless stuff they were talking about, 802.11n. The dual band wireless stuff. I mean, it's very much like what Nokia just announced.
by the way, Paul, people want to know if you could lower your camera a little bit.
Sorry.
There you go. Noise cancellation, earpiece, wideband audio. With wideband audio, you can fill up more of the frequency spectrum. We'll have 20 partners on launch. I would like to know about wideband audio and what they mean by that, because that's a very vague term.
Sure.
Next is the connector. Now, Paul, we were discussing this a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to cause an uproar with many people because they have devices that obviously don't take that new connector.
You think?
So what? I mean,
you mean they have they've just obviated that huge advantage they have with all the peripherals that are out there. Well, obviously you don't do something like this unless you really have to. There's going to be a reason for it, right? I mean, I'm curious to see what they have to say about that.
So I don't know. People are saying that this might be HD audio. I don't think it is HD audio. I think this is just a mic to cancel out.
The problem is that this connector is used for everything. And so they're going to have to do something to convert this to the old one so that as many existing peripherals that work do continue to work. Try to turn that into a sentence that's in English.
Listen, I don't think anybody goes in here expecting a flop as far as the device goes. Here we go. So here is the cable. It says Lightning. That's what it says on the screen. Lightning.
Yep.
Is that the name of it? Oh,
so we have Thunderbolt and Lightning.
Oh, that's stupid. That's really stupid. All digital, 8-signal design, adaptive interface, improved durability.
Reversible, okay.
Okay, that's reversible.
Arguably good.
And 80% smaller. We love those numbers. All digital.
I wonder if if what this actually enables is much thinner devices, right? Not just the iPhone 5, which probably could have worked with the old connector, but these other devices we're soon going to see, like the new iPods. I wonder if that was what drove this, that what they really needed was to make, in order to keep making these things smaller and smaller, they had to go to a smaller port size. I bet that is actually what drove this.
I mean, I don't think I think it's a good idea, and obviously they had to have gone to a smaller connector because that thing was really big. And it looked bizarre at the bottom of the device. You could also get an adapter. So
that's pretty. It looks just like every other Apple adapter, so you'll never confuse that with anything else. Yeah. That'll be nice.
So there will be an adapter for your device if you have the connector. I wonder if it'll come with it. Yeah, it probably will. Well, at least that's nice. They're not charging you $20 for it.
No, why would they? They never do that.
So that's the new Lightning adapter. So, Paul, is there what did you like the most out of so far from what we've seen?
Well, this is slim pickings, but
the camera, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the camera, we'll see. I mean, we don't know. People are online and they're already making all these determinations about, this is the right screen size. Finally, someone's done this. Apple has stepped up to 2010, 2011 by finally offering a larger screen, by finally offering LTE. And so, I mean, that's just catch-up stuff. And so I'm not going to laud them for that. I mean, Apple users have been waiting for that stuff for a long, long time.
A long time, yeah.
I've made a lot of cracks about the iPhone 4S being the perfect phone for children and women because it's so small that like no normal sized man would ever use such a phone. And so now there's an iPhone that a man can use, and I think that's neat. I mean, I find it odd that they continue to go to this one size fits all scheme, though.
Yeah.
And so now this is just the new size. You know, there's not an iPhone 5 that's with the screen size of the last phone. It's just now we're moving to this size. So you're all coming with us, you know. And I think that's the downside of, one of the many downsides to the Apple stuff is that they just don't offer that kind of diversity, you know, that you see elsewhere, Android or Windows Phone.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So now they're going to display iOS 6 running on the iPhone 5.
Right. This is actually, and again, I'm going to be a little too negative here maybe for some people, but unfortunately, iOS 6 is going to be the area where this thing falls the flattest unless they've secretly designed a completely new OS that we don't know about. And that's because this thing is just an evolution of the existing OS, which is really anachronistic and out of date. It's just kind of a mindless whack-a-mole interface. And I really, really need them to redo this, you know, maybe for the next version or whatever. It's too bad that they couldn't have done it for this device.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I think the interface is kind of getting dated at this point, and I don't know if it's because they're taking their time to develop one because they really don't need to put a new interface because these things are going to sell anyway, or they're kind of holding off because people are familiar with it and they become the safe bet. I mean, we've discussed this all the time. This is the phone that you tell your mom to buy when she wants to buy a smartphone.
Right.
So that they're showing turn-by-turn navigation on their new maps.
Yeah,
they're no
by the
longer
way, also catching up with the rest of the world. You know, Android's had free turn-by-turn navigation forever. Windows Phone has it with Nokia. We'll have it in Windows Phone 8 as well.
It works in landscape.
Catching up, good. You know,
it works in landscape and portrait mode.
Right, as it should. Though I did it not before. If not, that's another thing that was wrong with iOS. I mean, of course, why wouldn't it?
Also, we've got great satellite imagery. Who are they using? What is a company that they're using for this?
I think they bought a few companies and or invested in a few companies. I mean, obviously they're moving off the Google platform, so this is their own stuff or, you know, stuff that they bought or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the satellite stuff. See, this is a good example of something that makes a good demo, something that is completely worthless in real life. You know, you're never approaching this building from space, and so you don't need to know what it looks like from there. But what Google has is the Street View stuff, which is incredibly useful because that's where you are. And, you know, this is kind of, again, I'm going to try not to be super negative about this because it's just too easy with Apple. But this is form over function right there. You know, that satellite imagery.
Yeah,
this is of a city. That's useless.
Apparently, it works very similar to Google Maps 3D.
Okay, which you don't use when you're driving around.
Which you don't use, yeah. I mean, they had to leave Google at this point, right? They had to abandon that.
Yeah, I mean, they did leave Google. You know, sure.
Rightfully so. I mean, they at the time of this agreement where they were going to use Google was not this competitive machine that was going.
Partner.
Yeah, they were partner. I mean, the same thing goes for YouTube. You know, there were partners in it, and that's why they dropped them. Someone said maybe for aliens. Maybe the overview is good for aliens. I think so. Next up is a tweak, little tweaks they made to the notifications center. You could tap or tweet or post to Facebook. Okay, so I'm curious to know about the Facebook integration in the...
Yep, I am too, yeah.
Because that's been a big thing that was missing. But the other thing is they promised Facebook integration when iOS 6 came out for Mountain Lion.
Yeah, I think, and that's still coming, right? This is coming in a future release of Mountain Lion, yeah.
So now you could do it in full screen mode.
Do what? The browser?
Tweet.
Okay.
I guess because you could tweet from the notification area, but now you can pull it in full screen. I think the display is really nice on this thing.
By the way, for all the negativity, I mean, the thing to remember is iPhone is an incredibly high quality device. There's no doubt that this is going to be an incredibly high quality device. Screen needed to be bigger. It's bigger. You know, it's still iOS. That's too bad. But you get all that compatibility with the apps and everything, and not so much with the devices yet. We'll see how that falls about. I'm sure that will be fixed over time. But you know, unfortunately, you know, when you want, people are going to get excited about this regardless of what it is. But you know, obviously with Apple, you're always looking for that next, you know, huge thing. You know, and this is going to be huge from a sales standpoint. But you know, if you understand the iPhone and their products, I mean, this is very much just like the next version of this thing. And you know, okay.
You know, one thing that I feel that they've really dropped the ball on, and people don't agree with me on this, and I cannot, for whatever reason, I don't gel well with iCloud.
Oh.
For me, iCloud, and people swear by it and people love it, but for me, it hasn't worked the way people imagine it to. So here's something interesting. Now we have VIPs in mail. They all collect in one place. Okay, so now they have something, the passbook. You could show your movie tickets, boarding passes, cards from Starbucks. We saw this when they announced iOS 6, so nothing new here. I wonder if they're going to add a credit card to this. Because this is something that they've been battling. Yep. Google Wallets is something that they're fighting. No mention of NFC also.
Yet. I mean, I think I would be shocked if they didn't have NFC. Of course, I would have been shocked if they released an iPhone 4S without LTE, so what do I know?
People were starting to spread that rumor that they may not have LTE.
There's no way you could release a phone now and not have LTE. It's crazy, you know.
Here are the tickets to the
By
baseball
the way,
game.
this passbook thing is great. I have no doubt that this thing is going to be very successful. People want to use their iPhone to do everything. There's no doubt about it.
So, but here's the thing. Let's say you get like a Starbucks card, right?
Yeah.
You get the card, and then you program it into...
Well, it's not... All right, so actually, the way it works today is this is going to work... The analog to this is... see, I don't use iOS that often, but that... what's it called? Like the news... I'm sorry. I should just go look at the phone. The Apple has an app today that just aggregates other apps for news reading, like, magazine apps and so forth. This is like that for these things that used to be other apps. So in other words, Starbucks doesn't have to do too much. They're not writing something that plugs into this thing. They already have an app. It's just now that app is going to plug into this thing. And so this is just a formal way to collect these things that already exist as apps on the iPhone. In other words, part of the problem with the iPhone and iOS is this kind of whack-a-mole thing. By collecting a bunch of previously separate apps into one location, it mitigates that effect somewhat, right? Because you're going to pay for something, use a coupon, go to Starbucks, whatever it is. And now those things are all in one place. So you don't have to scroll between all your screens looking for the one icon that maps to the one thing you're trying to do. So it's like that.
I think it's pretty cool. I actually think it's a useful feature.
Let me get my iPhone.
Go ahead. Go grab the iPhone while I run down here. I also want to remind everybody, if you are watching on any number of our sites and experiencing some issues with the feed, it's because the servers to Ustream and possibly JTV are getting bombarded.
Newsstand, yes, that was it.
So if you go to gfqlive.tv, you could join our chat room there. About 324 people in there right now. Very active room. And you could pick any number of our feeds. We have Stick'em, Ustream, Justin TV, and we have a live audio feed. And you could go check it out there at gfqlive.tv. Now we're looking at photo. Yeah, show me, Paul. So how does it work?
How does what work?
Have you used the... do you know how it's going to work with loading everything up? You have to manually do it, right?
Loading stuff into Passport?
Yeah, I'm curious if you could get an email and you could just,
Oh no, I've not looked at it. I actually do have access to the Apple developer stuff, but I've not looked at this thing. Okay. I kind of gave up on that kind of thing. But no, just looking at it and seeing their descriptions of this at WWDC and of course what they're doing now. The reason this is going to be successful is simply because these iPhones are so pervasive. That people already have the app for their local movie theater or the app for Starbucks, the app for whatever. I mean, this is just putting all of this stuff into one thing. There are some technical questions around how they're going to implement this, i.e. whether they're going to have NFC, and if they're not, which doesn't make sense, how they're going to handle the security elements and all that kind of thing. Google Wallet does things a certain way. The Wallet feature Windows Phone 8 does things a certain way. And so this is going to be something we can compare as how Apple does it compared to those two guys. But the truth is, the iPhone is just so pervasive. They're going to sell tens of millions of these things before the end of the year. So there are going to be a lot of people using this feature. There's no doubt about it.
Interesting, no information on Siri yet. I thought they would really... Well,
I'd like to see the words NFC appear before they mention anything about Siri. I mean...
so they're showing photo streaming and how to share photos now. You could share... It shows Facebook directly there, so you could just click on it and share on Facebook. They received push notification for photos. You can comment on a photo. Your friends can, and they could like the photo. So it's all integrated in Notification Center. What are they booing at? Some of the stuff we saw at WWDC.
They're booing at the score of the football game.
Oh, they are, okay. Like, what are they booing at? Let's see. Siri. Okay, now we're at Siri. So they're asking you questions. I could post on the wall Siri and push and look forward for sushi tonight. So now they're talking about Siri. Siri is interesting. There are two developers left.
Yeah.
The two main guys for Siri left, and I'm curious on why they left. Did they leave because their project is over and it was a short-term deal, or they just couldn't handle the Apple-ness? And those are just some of the few features in iOS 6. Some great enhancements, photo apps, phone apps, included ability to automatically send SMS back when you're taking a call, which Android's been doing. And we have some great enhancements for accessibility. We think you're going to love it. And now Phil is back on stage. I don't know. This may be, to me, I don't know if it is like that for a lot of the viewers, but I feel like this is their most lackluster event that they've done in the last couple of years.
Well, you know what? Like anything else, they're going to have to release a video of this today, tomorrow, whenever. We'll be able to see this thing live. I think it's a little different in person. And again, this phone is already so great for so many people that it's hard to kind of follow up, something that already is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
they need to fix it. I think the software change would have gone a big way. I mean, bigger screen, LTE, not a big shock.
I also feel that we get this information so early on now.
I know.
Because now, and it really doesn't mean much.
That might have muted it too. Yep.
And we've been seeing iPhone 5 leaks for the last year. And I think because last year's announcement was expected to be the iPhone 5, this iPhone, and we didn't get it.
Right.
I think that also put a large damper on this, and to kind of...
Well, because it's been a year.
It's been a year, and we know what it's going to be for a year.
Yeah. Right. I mean... Yeah, I feel bad that they only have the one size device. I think that was something that could have changed things for these guys. They discovered with the iPod that one size doesn't fit all, and I think that's true with the phone as well.
Yeah.
That when you buy an Android phone or a Windows phone, you have your choice of device types there, but also screen sizes and capabilities and so forth. And they never said NFC, did they?
No, never. And right now they're playing. I guess it's approaching the end, and they're playing the end of show video. We know it's going to be in black and white, and we have not seen. And this is interesting. 153. It's normally an hour the event, and we have not seen pricing, which is
that will happen. They'll definitely.
Yeah, but they normally do that early on. While they're talking about it, this is the iPhone 5, and
I think they give you the whole package, the marketing bit, and then they're like, well, how much would you pay for this?
Yeah.
And I guess we'll see.
Johnny Ive is in a very large white room.
Yeah. They'll do something like, we increased the screen size by 25%, but we didn't increase the price by 25%.
Sometimes when I absolutely hate some of the coverage that they do for these events, but sometimes like when I watch The Verge, they'll write something like Johnny Ive is in a large white room, and I just die inside because that's hysterical that they're pointing it out. It's almost like they get it sometimes.
Sometimes
iPhone 5. Okay, so we're showing.
Took an incredible effort to take what we already had and make something that looks exactly like it. It was an incredible effort.
You know what I always wonder, Paul? What if, and this is crazy, but you see how it always has the bezel around it?
Yep.
What if they went side to side, up to, top to bottom?
What do you mean?
Is it possible to do that on these devices? Like, there's always
side to side. The screen, you mean?
Yeah. Screen.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I always wonder why they don't do that.
That's not their design language. They like that bezel.
But I mean, they technically, with the iPhone. So let's say this is an iPod Touch, an older one, but look at all the room on this thing. You got the room for the button.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
if they could have kept the form factor, the size of it, but they just extend the screen.
Sure.
I always wonder why they don't.
Part of it is because they make these devices so thin that they need space to fit stuff inside the. It really is about just fitting stuff in there. I bet that's part of it.
They're showing the guts now of the actual
because we need
device.
to see the guts of this thing.
The logic board.
I love how it's such an engineering feat.
Yeah.
No one else has ever created components that they jammed into a thin and light phone.
Look at that. That whole thing is battery.
Yeah, sure.
I'm curious to see how the battery life is going to be in real world, use.
Yeah. Yep.
The camera, I'm really curious about the camera. I'm very excited about the camera.
Very curious about the camera, but I mean, this is the first iPhone that well, let me think. I didn't really own an iPhone 4 either, but I mean, I'm not buying this. I don't feel anything about this. It's just, it's this thing I don't care about, wrapped up in the same exact Apple marketing spin that always seems to get people going.
But what is? I mean, but you have said on the show that we do on Wednesdays, Tuesdays, What the Tech,
whatever that
you want to watch, whatever day, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. East here on the GFK network. You've said this is the phone that you recommend to people.
Yeah. Right. I mean, so this is one of those weird things. I mean, I write about a certain part of the tech industry and that part of the, and also for a certain kind of person as well. And I think for normal people, non-technical people, the iPhone is that safe choice. It's a good phone. I'm not, we're digging at this thing because
that's what we do.
We understand what's going on here. But I mean, I think for a lot of people, yeah, it's not a bad choice. I was kind of blown away that my wife didn't get an iPhone and she went with Android very early on. She got the first Droid phone, which really blew me away.
Yeah.
And talking to her about that, she doesn't like Apple, so okay. And she didn't want any part of that, and so she made her own decision.
But I'll tell you this, my wife was an Android user.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And listen, I use an Android, and I'm pretty critical of them, but she went. I got her the iPhone last year. I got her the iPhone 4S, and she loves the phone. And she goes, "This is it works."
Right.
And that's why she loves it. I mean, she's not a technical person, but she loves it because it works.
Sure.
Unlike Android, which is plagued with a lot of glitches and bugs, especially at the time that we got it. I cannot see my wife walking around with a Nexus, Galaxy phone.
No, not that thing. That's a terrible phone. But the Galaxy S3 maybe. And the HTC One X, I think it's called, looks like a decent one. I don't have either. I don't have these phones, but as far as Android devices go, running a reasonably recent version of Android, those things look nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great looking phone. It's elegant. It's easy to use, and it works, and everything is there. So you kind of you're attracted to it, obviously. But if you're technical, you may want to venture out and try something else. And it's amazing how they are the innovative ones still. I mean, they're innovative with their design and the quality of their whatever they're putting in there. They're not the first to do it, but they kind of do it well when they do it. But they've become the safe bet. They're not looked at as, wow, this is cutting edge.
Not to interrupt this conversation, but I cannot believe they're beating the iPhone 5 to death. They're just it's just video clips.
I know.
Here we are, apparently milling it.
I see that, yeah.
As if that's how they make it. I mean, it's crazy.
Is that the bottom? That is the bottom, right, for the connector?
Which one?
Are we looking at the bottom or the top?
That's
right there.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably the top because the bottom would have a bunch of at least 3 of those. So
they're milling it. This is how all of them are made.
Yeah, they don't share some in the chat room. It's like, where are the Chinese slaves? No, they're not in the video. That's weird.
It looks like it's like made in
They are the people actually making that phone.
Well, they're making it seem like it's made in like Pittsburgh, at the steel mill.
It's made by Thor with his hammer in Asgard, and then handed down to mere mortals as a gift.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice design. I'm glad they left the glass back. I'm really happy about that.
Why? So you can break both sides of it?
Well, no, they only have one side that's glass now. So you could only break one side. So Phil is back on stage. I guess this is their end. This is are we going to get a one more thing, Paul?
I hope so.
What do you think it's going to be?
Well, there's more. I mean, there's more to this announcement than just the iPhone, right? I mean, there's going to be iPods and
I don't know.
A new iTunes.
I don't know. It's an hour in. Okay,
same price.
So same prices on contract: $199, $299, $399.
Oh, what's going on here?
You know what's fascinating about the pricing? People say that Apple's expensive, but $199 for a 16 gig when I pay $299 for my 16 gig.
People don't say Apple's expensive. Apple is expensive.
Apple is expensive, sure.
Right.
But
so I mean, let's not.
But let me ask you, if you're
around there.
But if you're a consumer and you go in and there's an Android phone for $299.
No, in this one market, yes, Apple can't walk into the phone market and not sell for the same price as everyone else.
So
they did in the beginning. They don't do that now.
So iPhone 4 is now free, 8 gig. iPhone 4S 16 gig, $99, and iPhone 5 starting at $199 to $399.
Right.
September 14th is when pre-orders begin. So in 2 days, ships on the 21st. So next week.
The 21st. Okay.
Yeah, so you could buy it on Friday. You could go and pre-order this. September 21st, availability will be in Canada, the United States, obviously, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Australia, Japan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. More countries to be shipped at on the 28th. 100 countries, 240 carriers. You know, their whole thing now is to saturate China.
Sure.
I mean, they've already got the U.S. market.
Well, actually, by the way, that's the one market in the last quarter where iPhone lost market share.
Yeah. Android is dominant. I
Yeah.
mean, extremely dominant in China. Let's see. iPhone. So iPhone 6, iOS 6 will be supported on iPhone 4S, iPhone 4, iPhone 3GS. Surprising. The new iPad, iPad 2, and the iPod Touch 4th Gen. So the last one. 3GS supported, not the iPad though. Original iPad is not supported with
the original
iOS.
iPad is in fact definitely newer than the 3GS.
Yeah, it is.
So they're supporting, it's interesting. I mean, obviously the 3GS customers are on a contract. That might have might be part of the reason. And I'm sure it supports a subset of the features on that phone.
They are saying also that iOS 6 will be available September 19th. If you have an iPhone 4S, okay, upgrade is free, obviously. Now, Tim Cook is back on stage. This is the biggest thing to happen to the iPhone since the iPhone. I would not agree with that. I think
well, hold on. That's a play on words. Remember, it's the biggest iPhone. So that sentence is technically true.
It is technically true. Very interesting. I would say the 4 was the biggest thing. Right?
No.
Wouldn't you say the iPhone 4 was the biggest change for them?
It was the biggest change, but it took them a full year to fix all the problems it created because of that stupid external antenna. But yeah, sure. I mean, it's obviously a big change. They're still using that exact same design. They can't walk away from it. They keep using the same exact design. I hope that part of this change to iPod and iTunes is that they're getting rid of iTunes for Windows, but I guess we'll see.
Really?
Oh, it's such a piece of crap application. It's so terrible.
We love creating music products. This is the reason we created the iPod and iTunes. So now they're going to talk about iTunes. Yeah, we should be getting a new version of iTunes. But yeah, no iPods yet. I guess they're gonna do two. They're gonna split the event. They're gonna do iPods now.
Yep.
I would start off with
historically they had done that September event for iPods. Remember?
Yeah.
And so now the iPhone timing is lining up with that, so they're doing them together.
And tell me when you have to leave, Paul.
Okay.
I know you have to leave at what time?
I do have a work call soon.
Yeah.
I should probably look into that.
Let's talk about iTunes, the #1 music store in the world. I guess that is accurate.
Oh yeah.
It's not like the biggest, and they just extended the screen. And today, I'm happy to report that the store is available in 63 countries worldwide. Customers can now shop from anywhere. Paul's website is winsupersite.com. That's winsupersite.com. Also, you can follow Paul on Twitter @TheRot. I'm @Andrew Zarian on Twitter. So you can follow me there as well.
It's funny because when I think of you as @Andrew Zarian.
Yeah, @Andrew Zarian. I have a very difficult time because I think of you @TheRot. Wideband audio means G722 codec for better calling quality. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that's really good news. 722. So here's a new design for iOS devices. Okay, so new design for iTunes for iOS.
Which, in many ways is the only version of iTunes that matters.
Do you think so? Do you think everybody's doing that purchase on iOS devices and not on...
One of the greatest features of iOS 5 was the ability not to have to worry about your PC anymore or your Mac, and just be able to do stuff right on the device. Absolutely. You don't, I guess you've been having difficulty with iCloud, but I mean, if you use it or use iTunes Match, you can just turn the device on, sync all the songs you want, and you're good to go. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I always have a very difficult time with it, and I don't know. I don't know if it's just me or other people experience that too. I just don't feel it. It doesn't connect with me. I don't know why. Maybe it is just me.
I think it's just you.
By the way, the new Lumias also have HD voice as well. Other phones are going to be...
that's not possible because Apple invented it. So I don't know what that means. But
yeah, guys. Ustream has really crashed big time. They haven't been able to handle it. But I think it's back for us now. So I'm losing the page at this point. Why do they keep the boring stuff till the end?
I know, that is kind of curious.
I've kind of lost interest in this.
Yeah. Well, but you know what they could do? They could do that one more thing where they talk about the iPad Mini, and that would bring it right back to something.
What I would like them to do is have the iPad Mini come from the Raptors, why can't I say it? From the sky,
right? And
kind of come down gently with a glowing light and like angel wings, and just have it come down and say "See you in October," and that's it. That's how it ends. Like
See you in October. I like it.
Yeah, and they
like
do
the end of an Avengers movie. We'll just we'll just talk about the next one.
So today they're also announcing a new version of iTunes for the Mac.
It's got to be Mac and PC.
Yeah, for the Mac. Rather than walking through the features, let's do an exciting demo.
Oh boy!
So here it is.
Yeah, there it is. So, by the way, I mean, obviously they have to keep the rich client version of this thing. It makes sense to make this look and work more like the mobile app version, you know.
I wonder if podcasting is in it.
It's got to be.
It has to be.
Right? It's going to be everything they already have, of course.
So, very exciting demo. When you click on an album, it expands in place. Sort of like folders in iOS, a lot like the mobile design. So it's very similar to mobile, which they're going to have to, and this is how they're going to do it. They're going to have to, they're going to piece applications and features together to a unified look and feel.
Yep.
It's silly to have two separate, they're calling it the same thing, but it's two separate things. So I don't know. Each album comes with a feature we call In the Store, where you can see the top songs and albums. So more invasive selling methods in the application.
Well, they have to do something to replace Ping.
Yeah, what an awful thing that was. You could also browse your library by artist.
I can't believe we're watching an iTunes demo. I just want to throw that out here. It's not like 2003. I think we get how media apps work.
I'm surprised they're giving this so much time.
I am too, because to be honest, this is the one area where they're just unassailable. They own this.
Yeah.
Android obviously has something. Microsoft has something. Amazon has something. Nobody cares.
We've given the artist the ability to share photos with you in your library.
Oh my God.
Here's some photos of Coldplay.
I've always wanted that.
Yeah, I guess this is how they're like taking Ping and just dissolving it into something else. But I wonder how many people want that. I mean, let's say you're pulling up a Billy Joel song. Do you want to see Billy Joel tweeting from the Hamptons?
Honestly,
posting pictures?
Okay, so I don't use iTunes regularly, but if I did, I think the point of it would be to go in, trigger some kind of playlist playing, and then leave. I'm not looking at iTunes. In other words, I'm not listening to music staring at the application screen. Like you play music in the background.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't understand the audience that serves. It doesn't seem to make sense to me.
I love this in our Justin TV chat room. Share photos in library, weak.
Nice.
I'll tell you guys, sometimes you guys, I'm looking at the chat room and things are said, and I have to take the camera away from me because I'm laughing. Let's see what else we have here. But this is bizarre that they'd save this to the end. Nice split screen view.
By the way, I don't really think this is
the end.
This is not necessarily the end. Yeah.
I mean, are they going to do 2 hours?
Yeah, they don't get enough credit for how they can drag something out like this. It's something kind of amazing.
The currently playing window provides a drop down for upcoming songs, a lot like that moved way too fast. Let's see. So you could drop down and see what's playing next. Okay. I mean, just it's a revamped version. I mean, I guess some people want to know about this, but let's touch a chat. Are you guys interested to see a demo of iTunes?
I think this is bizarre.
This is bizarre. This is painful.
Yeah, they do this a lot,
Yeah.
though. They go off on these things. You know, Steve Jobs used to do these demos of, you know, I really feel like this new version of iDVD is really important, so I'm going to do a 25-minute long demo of every single feature in this thing. And be like, oh, God, seriously? I mean, they do have this way of just beating stuff to death.
Next, they're going to show a video. Michael Mann in our chat room says, next they're going to show a demo of how the programmers type code for iTunes.
Yeah, exactly. Look, it's the mini player. It's a lot like the current mini player.
Wow, you know, I normally they've lost me on this.
That's crazy.
I mean, this is just. I would have imagined them to be like, hey, and we revamped iTunes. Here are the features. Go check it out. Available right now for download. It strikes me that it's hard to describe a demo of iTunes accurately. Things are moving around. That's The Verge. That's amazing. Things are moving around. The mini player allows you to manage. Okay, so now there's a mini player. So when you minimize it, I guess it pops up on the top. So that's a mini player.
Well, no, I think the mini player used to just float there. So now what
Yeah.
they're saying is you can actually, it must flip around to the back or something, or you can somehow change the display and access playlists and that kind of stuff. Okay. Again, I you know,
Yeah.
it seems like kind of a weird thing to focus on.
We've built iCloud right into iTunes. Let's switch to movies. This is my entire library. I'm curious on what movies this guy has. Is it his real library? For people tuning in, it's turned out to be an iTunes demo.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it. Wow, this is so innovative, someone said.
Wow. Yeah.
Listen, I think it's great that they've upgraded it, but do we need a demo at an hour into the event?
I look at this screen and I see the thousands of dollars someone spent on a Mac and the hundreds of dollars someone spent on all these movies they bought at the iTunes store. And I just think to myself, someone has way too much credit on their credit card. This is just like
they bought
like
Citizen
idolizing
Kane.
e-commerce, you know?
Yeah. They bought Citizen Kane. They bought the Avengers.
Yeah, of course. They bought everything.
Godfather. Let's.
They're going to do some kind of device to Mac to PC sync kind of thing. I'd bet, you know, where you can start watching a movie and then continue watching it elsewhere. There's no way they start with the iPhone and end with this. This is no way.
Yeah.
I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
I would imagine they did this during the middle of the announcement.
Yeah.
I mean, that's normally how I would have done this. The store on desktop is much similar to iOS version, much cleaner, looks similar to the way it navigates as well. I mean, that's great. Okay.
I guess the other thing to think about here is that obviously the new iPod Touch is going to be based on the iPhone, right?
Yeah, but I'm starting to feel that they're not even going to mention that. They're going to save that for the next event.
They definitely are. They will.
You think they're going to go into the iPods?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and based on the loving care they're going through iTunes, it's going to be a while. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, this is. I don't know. I would have imagined if they're going to do anything, they would talk about the iPods, then they would talk about iTunes, and then they would go into the iPhone.
That's exactly how I would have done it too. Except for if they had done that, they couldn't have really talked about the iPod Touch too much because it would have given away some of what was happening with the iPhone, and maybe that explains the reversal.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually hopeful that they do some major revamps to the iPod Touch. Because it's been the same from day one. They didn't really change it with the iPhone 4S.
Sure.
Oh, thank God the demo's over. Eddie Q is back and running down the changes. New iTunes available late October. Interesting. Why late October? Paul, did you pick up on that one?
No, I didn't.
Late October release. Not now.
Wow.
Dramatically. Well, I think that has something to do with the whatever they're going to announce in October. Dramatically simplified, iCloud built in, new mini player up next, redesigned iTunes Store.
Here we go.
Okay.
iPod.
Okay, here we go. I guess I was wrong. The iPod is the most popular music player of all time. Sold 350 million of them. Yes.
Yep.
Most popular music player of all time. Yes, we know that. But we don't just stop. We don't. I can't even read this because it's going so.
Let me handle this one.
Go ahead.
We do just do it for the numbers. We love money. Give me a break. We do this as a hobby. We actually put all of the money that we make on the iPod back into various philanthropic activities that we do on the side that nobody knows about. Give me a break. You know, the way these guys market themselves is so, I mean, and you know, there are people swooning over this. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, I love Apple.
Let's see. Some pictures. So here's the history of the device.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you, when it came out, it really was an interesting design.
Actually, by the way, most of these are pretty interesting. I've always really kind of liked the iPhone.
I don't like
iPods.
I don't like the little nanos. I'm not a fan of those.
I don't like the screenless device. I think the little nano thing, if it had had more storage, would have been kind of interesting for like a gym type thing.
Here we go. Let's start with the nano. There's
Let's start
sixth
with-
generation, but we want to reinvent nano. We thought, what elements do we want to add? First thing that we want to give is a large display. Give it nice controls, make it thin and light, and of course, with lightning connector.
Of course.
That's what we did. Okay, so they made it bigger.
So, what, they going back to the previous design now? They're
Yeah, look at that. Oh, that's interesting.
oh jeez,
It's a mini iPod Touch.
they can't. Oh, okay. Is it touchscreen?
Yeah, I think so.
The current one is touchscreen. Okay, so yeah, all right, that's interesting. All right, yep. So the previous form factor, but without a scroll wheel, click wheel, or whatever it's called.
Thinnest iPod Nano we've ever created.
Yep.
I think
Care
that'll.
about that.
You know what? That's gonna sell. Because how do you keep that market alive with if you have an iPod
Yeah.
Touch? and you have
It's
an
going to
iPhone?
sell in the context of this diminished market that is the market for MP3 players. I mean, and by the way, let's be clear about this. They own this market. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Apple, and then there's nothing else. There is literally nothing else that matters in this market. And so, yeah, this looks great. I just don't know. It still just feels like something that's on a continual decline.
Yeah, I mean it's slowly, and they're gonna eventually fade it off to one device at that point. 5.4
Yeah.
millimeters thin, 38% thinner. It's also a much larger display. It's multi-touch. Wow. Okay. 2.5-inch display. So it's pretty much the same exact display what you get, but 2.5 inches.
I bet it's not iOS though. You know, they did that with the last Nano where it looked like the iOS screen and
Yeah.
supported touch, but it was really just its own thing.
So here it is. You have music, video, fitness, podcasts, photos, and radio.
Yep.
That's the home screen. It comes in 7 fun colors. Paul, which color do you want?
It looks kind of old-fashioned to me.
I kind of like it.
Part of it might be the
Yeah.
round icons on the screen.
Look at it. Very interesting. Have you noticed something in this image? You could set the background color
Oh,
to match.
yes.
Interesting.
I don't know. These, I have to say, I don't know. These don't.
People are saying it in the room. Very Nokia-like.
Yeah.
I like it. You know, you have a kid, you get him an
This
MP3
might be something
player.
I need to see in real life.
Yeah, widescreen video.
God, video. It's like in, out, in. Yeah, do we have it? The next one won't have video. You know,
Yeah.
they're really weird about this stuff. And by the way, the fitness stuff they're showing off, this is one thing that they've always gotten right. You know, if you go to my gym, you can plug an iPhone or an iPod into the various machines.
Do you feel because they become so dominant in the market that people are kind of adapting to that? So they all support the iPhone?
Oh, of course. Yeah. You can get connectivity in virtually any car that's made today and in lots of other devices.
Yeah, I'll
too.
give you an example. My Infinity does not have USB support.
But it does have an iPod.
Has
connector.
2 separate iPod connectors.
Sure.
It has the iPod connector, and it has like this weird adapter that I can swap out.
I like that. By the way, so they're adding Bluetooth, so you can use it in a car. Nice.
Oh, they added Bluetooth. Okay, very cool.
And thank God it has a lightning connector. I don't know how I would have adapted otherwise. It's just so important. You don't be connected. Like only Apple would ever talk this up. You know.
The longest battery life. Okay, that's good. Do they need all the models? How many models do they currently have for the
They
iPod?
have the Shuffle, the Nano, They have the touch, and I'm missing one. There's
I mean, I think
it?
they still have a classic, right?
a classic. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't changed that in years. So
I mean, do they need it? Okay, so iPod Touch. Here we go. Let's see. I'm actually excited about this one. So I always end up buying them.
I assume that's a Coldplay album cover. What is that?
It says colors. This is how I'm trying to see it. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, just like putting your face up to the screen.
I don't know who it is.
Free.
Right.
No, it's not Coldplay.
Okay, talking about the games.
Mm-hmm.
The most popular player and the most popular game device.
I think that's a fair thing to say.
Very fair thing to say. It's not just great for music or games. It's also a great iOS device. We wanted to make
this is something
Microsoft
better. Never got right, by the way. Well, obviously they used to have the Zune HD, but I think the ability to get what is basically an iPhone without the phone is a great way for people to get into this ecosystem much more cheaply, but have most of the benefits.
Yeah.
And the iPod Touch is just such an important product. I can't believe that Microsoft doesn't allow its partners to make a device like this.
So here we go. This is the new iPod Touch. Obviously has a fifth row, so it is the same large display. 6.1 millimeters thin. It's very thin. Lightest iPod, 88 grams. 6.1. It's very thin, actually. It's pretty...
Well, the iPod Touch has always been very thin. I'm not...
It's made out of aluminum.
Super shocked by that.
Oh, they got rid of the shiny back. Thank God.
Yeah. The shiny back that's scratched as you took it out of the box.
Oh, my God. It was so bad.
What's it made out of now in the back?
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
I don't know if it's brushed aluminum or what. You'll notice the display. It's the same display as the iPhone 5. So they have, I guess, same resolution, everything. Same DPI? Or PPI? That would be interesting if it's the same display, because it wasn't the same display as the other one. It wasn't a Retina display previous to this.
Ah, that's right.
And
wait, no. Well, okay, but it was the same resolution, wasn't it? But not the same display. Is that how it works?
Same resolution, not the same display. Yeah.
It was still pretty good, though. I mean, the iPod Touch as it exists today is a fine device.
And this is what Apple does. A5 chip, not the A6.
Yep. Yeah, it's last gen. Okay.
Yeah, last gen. Yep. And I guarantee the camera will also be last gen.
Yeah.
Which I think that's good enough.
Yeah, it probably is. It's too bad though.
Yeah.
Well, you probably couldn't fit that camera in the thinner iPod Touch. I think that's probably the issue.
Dual core processor, 2 times as fast. Dual core graphics. Okay. I want to know about the camera, because if they put the 4S camera in here, it's kind of worth getting.
I don't think but this is like half as thin as a 4S. There's no way it's going to be that camera.
Let's see.
Plus, they don't mention the camera, right? If this thing was that camera, that would be something worth discussing here.
Come on. Talk. Say something.
I know what happened.
I don't know. Now, game developers on stage to show off iPod Touch in action. Clumsy Ninja. An interactive toy. We're waiting for a game. Oh boy, this is cute, says The Verge. Yeah, I'm curious about the camera, because the camera was awful on the last iPod Touch, and
it will be awful again.
And it'll probably be awful again. But I hope that I don't know what they could do with the camera. I mean, do you think they're going to leave it the same?
I have no opinion on that. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same, or just basically, an evolved version of that camera. That I just don't see them bringing the high quality camera from the iPhone to this device.
Okay, so we're looking at Clumsy Ninja. I don't know why they're demoing this. I really don't know why they're demoing.
Because it's cute.
It's cute.
You could never do that on another smartphone platform.
It's interesting how they're taking their time with these useless demos.
Well, that's the way Apple kind of does things.
Let's see, no mention of the camera yet. I guess they're really trying to push this as a gaming device. And which it is. I think for many people it is. Useless demo. It's just a guy standing there. It's literally a ninja standing there. The character on screen reacts to the player's actions.
He must be moving the phone around to cause the guy to bobble or whatever.
Pretty funny stuff. Now they're tickling the ninja.
Someone should call this like alternate reality.
Clumsy ninja can learn. Okay.
Yay.
And now the ninja is punching up.
You know why they're doing this, right?
Why?
Because they are going to introduce the iPad mini, and they're just making us wait for it.
Like, this is their cruel joke. This is like, oh, we're just screwing with you.
Oh, you'll pay.
We're going to sit here. Someone says, I miss Steve Jobs.
Yikes. To be honest, we all miss Steve Jobs.
These events will never be the same.
Well, this event would have been not any different if he was running it. I mean...
Yeah, but you know what? There was always this allure
kind of
with it. Yeah, they always did this stuff, but I feel like they got to buy because... I don't know. They got to buy with a lot of the crappy demos they did. You know, Apple was known for their demos, so I think they're still known for their demos, but I can't explain it. We tried explaining it on Tuesday, and it's very difficult to explain the PR machine and the perception behind it.
Sure. You know, if this clumsy ninja thing can learn, maybe he could work at the Genius Bar at an Apple store.
Yeah. By the way, I have here while they're doing this awful demo, I have a fan for my white MacBook Pro, my white MacBook from 2008. Yep. And the reason why I have to operate on this thing and solder wires to the logic board is because they want $500 for the logic board from 2008 for a replacement. So I have to literally solder wires to the board. Okay, so we're talking about the battery life. 40 hours of music. Battery life is increased on the iPod Touch. Okay, that's good news. Okay.
Jeez.
So the camera, here we go. iPod Touch customers love to take pictures and shoot. For the first time, we've built an iSight camera into the iPod Touch.
Interesting.
And we built autofocus and flash in it as well.
Flash?
Yeah.
Huh.
iSight.
Yeah, iSight that doesn't
the
mean
name.
anything.
But what does that mean? But listen what they said.
There's no spec that it meets to be called iSight. It's just...
Okay, so 5-megapixel camera.
They're just communicating their intention that this is a decent camera. You know, in other words, it's not just a camera; it's an iSight.
Okay, so they didn't take the older camera. They
Right.
actually, this is a newer camera. I guess it's custom made for the iPod Touch. 5-megapixel sensor, backlit illumination, hybrid IR filter, 5-element lens. So it's everything that the iPhone 5 camera has. Just it's 5 megapixels.
Yep.
Which I'll take.
Sure.
No, I mean,
No, yeah.
I
mean, again, you need to see it, but yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so far on paper, I like it.
I hope they offer a widescreen photo shooting mode, you know, that meets the aspect ratio of the device itself.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you think they haven't mentioned that?
No, the iPhone 4S and back is all 4:3. It's one of the things I like about, not all Windows phones have this, but some of the Windows Phone devices like the Nokia Lumia 900 have this, have that mode, which I prefer. When I buy an actual camera, I shoot in that kind of mode.
So here's some photos taken.
Yep. Which, by the way, are 4:3.
Yeah. I mean, if they're accurate, they do look better than the previous.
Well, okay, but this is not guy walks up to houses in San Francisco and takes a photo and it just happens to look like that. I mean, there's no doubt that this thing was mounted on a very stable, tripod or whatever. Ooh, the iPod Touch Loop.
What is that?
It's a strap.
Oh my god!
It's so women can use it as a defensive mechanism.
Just swing it around.
They can swing it at you.
That's funny that they're calling it the iPod Touch Loop. They're just milking everything.
They're literally calling it a bracelet.
Is that what they're doing?
Well,
they are.
LiveBlog is anyway. You push the circle and up, and it pops up a loop.
That's hysterical. For stabilization. Oh, that's funny.
Okay.
I don't even know what to say about that.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know. You know, it's interesting. I give them a lot of credit, and to me, this is just bizarre stuff they're bringing up. FaceTime HD, 720p, backlit illumination, detection, Bluetooth 4.0, same Wi-Fi chip as the prior one because they upgraded that.
It has N.
Yeah, that's good. They upgraded the Wi-Fi, which I think is great.
That's significantly better.
You know what's amazing? You want to know? A fun fact? My MacBook Pro has no Wi-Fi service in my kitchen, but every other device that I ever owned works.
Right.
My 2008 white MacBook works throughout the entire house. The MacBook Pro doesn't.
Interesting.
Yeah. We bring AirPlay mirroring to the iPod Touch for the first time. Okay, that's great. I mean, these are good features. I'm probably going to get this.
You have to resist.
You know why? Because I always want to be in the latest environment.
Sure.
So I'll probably end up getting this. I'll pay $200 for it. Improvements in wireless across the board.
Please don't do a Siri demo, please.
I did. You know what I did? I did a Siri demo, and a couple local news affiliates picked it up because I was looking for prostitutes on it. I'm not even kidding you.
No, I remember this.
Yeah. They loved it. That's what I'm known for.
That's right.
Yeah. I was asking her for drugs, and I asked her where
Dear
I could find a prostitute.
Andrew Zarian,
Yeah.
I'm looking for prostitutes in the New York area.
Can you help me? Yes, I can. Let me ask Siri.
I understand you can help.
All right. iPod Touch in colors. Okay.
That's cool.
Okay. 5 choices. And they come with your own colored loop.
Can you get a different loop so you have like a yellow device and a green loop?
God forbid. God forbid.
So we don't get to see what the colors look like.
Not yet.
I think colors are going to be a nice little bump for them too.
I think that's cool. Yeah.
That's
because you got to also. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You got black, silver, baby blue, yellow, and red.
Yeah.
Why yellow?
I don't know.
That's going to be the one that's going on sale.
The cyan. They stole Nokia blue.
They did, yeah.
Curious.
All right, so it's all the different colors of the device. No mention of the classic. So are they phasing it out?
Well, either that or they're just pulling it forward again, right?
Yeah.
They've always kept it there because there are some people that just have a lot of music and that's their one choice.
Apple. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually. Oh, here we go. The headphones.
Yeah, this was
earbud update.
Telegraphed ahead of time.
And let's see what the difference is. You know, they're not great, but they're not awful either.
By the way, someone says it's reaching to compare this to Lumia. That is the exact same color as the Lumia cyan blue. So no, it's not reaching. It's very obviously the same color.
Yeah. Let's see.
So hopefully, we'll see what they do with the earbud. I've never liked earbuds. Earbuds are tough because they're obviously, ear specific. Some people, earbuds hurt their ears. That for a little while, Apple would. They probably sell these still. They have those the earbuds you could buy that have the different tips.
EarPods.
Yeah, one size fit all is just.
So they spent 3 years on designing the headphone EarPods. I wonder how good the quality is of the actual.
Why did they make us suffer during that entire time?
Yeah, 3 years.
It's like you took 3 years and you're just doing it now.
I absolutely hate earbuds. I'll tell you.
Yeah, no, I did too.
These were leaked a few weeks ago. So it's the same product.
Not a video.
We're
gonna use them to use Siri. No.
I don't know. They're really pushing this event. I wonder if they're trying to hit like 3:00 for whatever reason and have the big unveil. We differ on the opinion on the iPod Mini, which I'm surprised because we pretty much agree on this stuff. I don't think it's necessary, and I don't want to see it. But you say, yeah, it's extremely necessary, and they're going to sell a whole lot of them. So I'm curious if they're going to show this at the end. Making an earphone that fits everyone. Oh, here we go. It's the same exact one as the leak. I mean, it's a cool looking design.
Yeah, it looks like a special effect from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
It does. It's like a pod you got to go into. Michael Manna says it's necessary to unveil the iPad Mini at this far along in the event.
Yeah. If they don't, they actually could get some backlash from this. Not that it's going to matter because, they're going to sell like 15 million iPhones today or whatever on pre-order. But yeah, I really feel that they should just do the iPad.
I'm telling you, or they might be like, hey, listen, by the way, and show like a silhouette of it and be like, see you in 2 weeks. Sayonara, and just walk out. He kicks the door open and walks out.
Here it is. You know exactly what it is. There's no reason to discuss this any further. You can buy it now on apple.com.
Yeah, that would be great.
It would be hilarious. That'd be great.
He's like, I'm not even going to talk about this. Okay, so let's see. So the earbuds.
Really, God, they're just talking about the earbuds.
Yeah.
The AirPods, or whatever they're called. Oh, they're flat. Kind of.
Yeah, that's an interesting design.
Available today.
Oh, very cool.
Finally, something that they're showing is available right now.
It's a cool design. I'm curious how
it
makes a big difference in the comfort and the quality.
That's the thing. And they need to address this notion of speaker docks and whatnot with this new connector they have. I mean, they have such a huge market of that stuff, and if that doesn't work with all these new devices, I mean, how are they going to handle that?
Okay, so let's review. There has to be one more thing at this point.
Yep.
All right, let's review. Same stuff. Nothing yet. I guess it's a delay to get it. Yeah, actually, I don't mind the earbuds. I kind of think they're cool looking. iPod Shuffle $49, iPod Nano $149. Keeping the 4th gen iPod Touch 16 gig at $199. New iPod Touch 32 gig $299.
I don't like when they do that. Why do they do that?
So wait a minute. iPod.
This is the old iPod Touch. Is $199. So by the way, that tells you something very important, I think, about the potential pricing of an iPad Mini. They're not lowering the price on the Touch. In fact, they're keeping the low-end version of the Touch exactly where it was before.
Oh,
and
wait a minute.
It's the same device.
Oh, wait a minute. So it's more expensive.
Yeah, they're actually keeping the old one in market. Well, okay. I mean, arguably, I guess they're doing that with the 4S too. So this is the first. This is interesting.
Interesting how there's no 16 gig iPod Touch.
Yeah, there's 2 versions of it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's a little different than the way they've done things before.
But if I want to get the new iPod Touch, I'm going to spend $300.
You sure are.
Because there's no new one.
But you know what that means, right? Well, okay, no, not necessarily. So it's still possible they could release a 16 gigabyte iPad Mini at $399, $299. Is that right?
iPod Mini.
$299.
No, iPod.
But I don't think we're ever going to see that happen.
Okay, so Tim Cook is back. So he's talking about all the colors. Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed in that. So why not have a 16 gig iPod Touch at $199?
They do, but it's the previous gen.
It's the previous gen. It's not the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. That kind of screws that entry-level group that wants the new one. You're spending $100 more for it.
That's interesting. I don't know. It's not exactly the way they've done things in the past, but it's kind of in keeping with the way they do things.
Okay, so now we love music and music lineup iPod and excited to create an ad. Here it is. So they're showing a commercial.
Oh, boy.
And one more thing. Come on, guys. Yeah, I think that's... people are saying 16 gig is enough, but it's not the same device.
Right.
It's not the new...
last year's device.
It's last year's device that's still on the market at the same price point. You're paying, if you want to get the new iPod Touch, you're paying an extra $100.
Yeah, that's quite a premium. So it's a bigger device, higher res.
But why not add?
Processor.
But why not add that? I mean, I don't understand why not add a 16 gig Nano
and
and just eliminate the other one.
Their profit margins are so high, it probably just fell below some threshold, and they said,
guess
no,
so.
we're not going to do that.
I guess with the display and everything, because they can't subsidize it, obviously. So the cost was a lot more. But that's interesting. That's not what Apple does normally, especially with the iPods.
Mm.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, here is the commercial. Let's recap what we introduced today.
Uh-oh. And then let's introduce something else.
I don't know, but I really hope he turns around and is like, sayonara, suckers, and just walks away. The recap. Okay. Now with 200 new features. I'm telling you, Paul, they might not. They might not do it. Now we're looking at each other, an incredible industry, leading innovation, but to set themselves apart, blah, 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 blah. Nothing, no info. I'm really, out of all the things, we're critical on certain things and we like certain things, but I have to tell you, I'm very disappointed in the iPod Touch, the pricing. Only Apple could do this. Only Apple could get stronger. Blah, blah. They're doing the best work possible in their lives. Okay, sure.
Sure.
So here we go. That's it. And Apple pictures. You know why I'm a little disappointed in this? Because there's a lot of people during Christmas, and this is the thing that you get your kid. You don't get your kid a cell phone, but you get them an iPod Touch. And they'll always, and they'll have the iPod Touch, and that's what they use, and they get all the games, and they get all the apps. But now, they're not going to get that iPod Touch for $199.
Sure.
Music guests, Foo Fighters. We have a band playing them out. Yeah.
That's it, huh?
I think so.
It's disappointing. Well,
yeah, Foo Fighters.
I don't desire any of this stuff. I feel like I've been cured.
I'm very,
I'm
very disappointed in the iPhone 5. I'm not that I think the iPhone 5 is exactly what it was going to be. I think over the last couple of years, we got used to having these major changes, and radical redesigns. I mean, we didn't really get it, but that's what we kind of expected. And we did get a big change from the iPhone 3GS to the iPhone 4. And we got the bigger display that we expected now. But that's what's going to happen in the coming years. We're not going to get these huge changes to this device because guess what? It works the way it does, the way it is. I'm just very disappointed in that pricing structure.
Yeah. Well, again, it's not the same way they do things specifically, but it's sort of in keeping. You bring out last year's model, you keep that as the low-end option.
Yeah.
I hear you. I mean,
I don't know. So I think that's it.
I need to get rolling. I have to prepare for a work call. Now, apparently, we're going to have 2 work calls back to back, which I'm really excited about. Anyway, thanks for letting me do this.
Anytime.
I wish I could be more excited about it, but
yeah, you're not.
I don't. Well, part of the reason is we knew it was all coming. There were no real surprises today, right? And obviously, the iPhone's great. I mean, I make fun of Apple and the iPhone a lot, but it's a solid device, and so this is the next solid device in that kind of line of solid devices. It's they do what they have to do, and they did it.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Paul. Thanks a lot.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So to recap, I'm in the middle with this one, and I'll tell you why, and I'll find out what you guys think also, the viewers. For me, I'm not 100% behind the device. I don't think it's that big of a change, but it's evolutionary. Again, we've kind of gotten used to having these radical changes, and I don't necessarily feel like we're going to see that. I am not happy about the iPod Touch announcement. That I don't think we and I'm surprised more people are not complaining about it. I'm very surprised about that. They've totally eliminated the $199 category from the new device. They're still selling the older device. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Very interesting. I don't know why they did that. I don't understand why they did that. Yeah, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people like it. I mean, I'm looking at the JTV room. There's a lot of people that are not really impressed. And I'm surprised because normally everybody's very excited about it. So I don't know what to make of it. What do you guys think? iPhone 5, happy with it or not?